So breaking, South Carolina taking a giant step toward reopening despite increasing cases. South Carolina is reporting 4 new deaths and 64 new cases for a total of more than 4,400 cases. And the state expects 750 new cases per week by early May. Now, in the last 30 minutes, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster announced that as of 5 p.m. today, right now, everything from furniture stores to craft stores can reopen.
Of course, the governor saying social distancing restrictions will still be in effect in and out of those businesses. Our Greg Susskind is live now to explain more, and know you were listening along with us, Greg. And you talked with people on both sides of this one, and there are two very opposite sides, it seems.
Yeah, there certainly are, but I'll tell you, during Henry McMaster's tenure as governor, he's talked about jobs more than just about anything, and economic growth. You can tell that's his hallmark. That's what he really wants to see. And he's talking about places like this here, the Rock Hill Galleria, a mall that's completely empty, like you see there behind me. He wants to get places like this reopened, but the big question is now the time to do it? Wherever you stand on the issue of reopening thousands of shuttered businesses, there's intense pressure on all state governors to open and not to. Governor Henry McMaster has decided to allow clothing, shoe, jewelry stores, and department stores to reopen. Many support the move.
I have a very good friend who passed away from COVID-19 in Camden, and so I see this as very serious.
York County Republican Gary Simrell says businesses know how to innovate and should have the chance to put social distancing measures in place and open. He applauds McMaster's decision.
Small business is the backbone of the economy. Let's live by that and let small business do what they need to do to survive.
Lancaster Democrat Mandy Powers-Norrell thinks the governor should wait at least until May. She wants to see data that backs up the rationale for reopening so many places now, and says there needs to be more testing to be certain we're not putting people in danger.
We have not yet hit our peak, that we are in the peak weeks now. So I do have some concerns about it, and I'm hearing concerns from my constituents.
Others we spoke to are still concerned that COVID-19 cases could rise.
I just think it's a little too soon right now.
What makes you say that?
Well, it's just, I'm still hearing about hundreds and thousands of people dying.
The stay-at-home order has not been lifted, raising still more questions. And that's a point there at the end that I wanted to make about that stay-at-home order. The governor did not release that, which means essentially he's saying they only want us to go out and do essential things, but yet they're opening non-essential businesses. So when asked about that, the governor basically said what that really means, if you can work from home, to continue to work from home. Back to you.
And Greg, you talk about that mall behind you, and so it comes to question, each store has its own limit on customers, but then in a shopping mall, would they actually have to be outside limiting the number of people who walk in, or would each individual store have to do it? That seems like an area that still is going to have to be hashed out. How are they going to work that?
Yeah, especially when you're talking about something like a mall, and I imagine you're probably going to see something similar to what Home Depot has done, even though that's one store. Of course, they had lines outside, sort of a crisscross back and forth with the line. They had some areas blocked and had people sort of monitoring people coming in and out. It's something they're probably going to have to try to figure out here, and obviously it's something they're going to have to do really soon now.
And one other thing to think about, I'm sure you have, Greg, is the employees who hopefully at this point are starting to receive unemployment. They're getting some of that federal money as well. And so in many ways, they're able to safely stay at home now, but are being told to come back to work. And I'm going to imagine there are going to be some who are saying, I'm okay with that, and others who say, I'm absolutely not okay coming back to work. And how do they have that discussion with their employer? And could there be any retribution? That's a big concern I think Governor McMaster did discuss.
Yeah, certainly a big concern. I'm sure you've also heard, too, I've had many workers from many companies who've been laid off, or people who've been forced to come to work as well, who've contacted me saying, I've been told I got to work. I don't want to work. I don't feel safe. What can I do? I've referred a lot of those people to employment attorneys who can answer questions about workers' rights. Certainly a very big issue that the state's going to face now very soon.
All right, Greg Susskind live tonight, and I know tomorrow what angle you'll be looking at tomorrow, Greg, as those businesses open back up. In fact, it's 5 o'clock now, so technically they could be opening as we speak if they can move quickly. Thank you, Greg.